Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Intrix and I'm back again with another Conqueror's Blade video. This time I'm going to be covering the final unit released in Season 4, the Sipahis. Sipahis are an interesting type of cavalry unit because they play very much differently than all the other cavalry units in the game currently to this time. What makes them different? We'll break into those fundamentals and mechanics here in just a moment. Just looking quickly here at their attribute and stats, not terrible. And at the same time, they're not going to increase that much more. I went with the top tree, and we're going to get into comparisons of why I went with the top tree and why I feel the top tree is the best fit for this unit here in just a moment. Keep note that their speed is 7.0. That speed is slightly faster than monastics, where monastics are at a 6.5, Courtiers being a 7.5. Not a terribly slow unit given how much armor they are equipped with, but at the same time I feel like they're just very squishy. And even with this top tree leveled, I still feel like they're quite squishy. I hope that in the next few levels, being a level 15 unit, I can max it out to 20. They're going to get a little bit more tankier, but I don't know how much more that's going to play into actually their sustainability. So how you play this unit, how you use this unit is really going to be a big thing. Don't expect this unit to last forever, but if you play it the right way, it probably will do a hell of a lot of damage. So we'll just get straight into it. Looking at the veterancy tree notes here. So once you get to level 3, you get a 4% increase on all defenses. Moving forward, you have the ability to stack range damage taken by 15%. You can get that defense buff, which I think is quite nice because any type of cavalry, especially a cavalry unit that is somewhat slow, is going to be susceptible to getting shot by archers. This is nice. You get an extra 6% of health bonus. Increases slash and defense by a total of 9%. And crusade is the stomping skill that they get, which is actually quite nice, actually. It's a very crowd controlling type of skill. It's stomp, it's blunt damage, it just literally just wrecks whatever is around them. This goes for units and heroes. There is really no type of hero or unit that's going to hold up quite well to this stomping. You get an additional 6 seconds reduction on that cooldown. Where I'm at right now, I get increased piercing defense, which I think is going to be quite nice, and it will help them make them a little bit less squishy. You're going to get a total of 9%. You're going to get an additional 6% of health, which, you know, is going to add to that sustainability, and then another 2 seconds off their crusade. I believe that this top tree is just the best all the way around. They get extra health, they get a bunch more defense in the sense that it's going to help them stay alive longer, and they do get a cooldown on crusade, which I find is the better of the two skills that they get. This is the crowd controller, this is the shock and all, this is what's going to do the work, and this is a really good amount of cooldown reduction that you can keep these guys alive long enough that you can probably pop this off 2, maybe even 3 times before they fully die. In comparison to the bottom tree, looking here, increases blunt armor penetration by 15%. Now that's nice, but already with 1426 armor penetration, I just don't really see this unit doing a hell of a lot more than what it already is doing. If it was blunt damage, I would say that that would be fantastic because not a whole lot of stuff has blunt defense anyway. So the penetration's not really needed. The damage is what's really needed. So putting on a blunt damage doctrine is what's going to help you in that sense. Having this as a skill kind of is what it is, but I feel like it's not really going to do what it should do, and therefore already we're not off to a great start on this bottom tree. Moving forward, each level increases damage dealt to infantry by 5%. Now that is a nice compensation. Overall you get a 10% increase, but that is just to infantry only. Still, not terrible. Moving forward, reduction on quick charge cooldown for a total of 6 seconds. Now, with the quick charge, it isn't a charge. They're still going to move at same speed towards the unit. There is no vroom rocket ship type of speed going on. They're not going to bulldoze anything. They're just simply going to keep going at the pace that they're going. So what does this charge do? Well, it allows them to basically be a mounted scrimmaging type of unit. They're going to be able to swing that mace at a very rapid rate and dish out a lot of damage. This is great for basically rolling them through clouds that are quite dispersed, because they're going to be able to get off those couple extra shots opposed to maybe, maybe getting 2 swings. They're going to be able to get 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 swings off, and that's a lot of damage. So it's not bad, but I think that at the end of the day, having Crupade and that Stomp is what's really going to make this unit shine. This cooldown isn't really going to make it that much more dramatic of a unit. It's the Crupade that's really going to make it a dramatic type of unit when you're facing against it. Increases blunt damage by 2%. Now, this is where you're kind of getting to the shining moment, but a 6% increase is not tremendous. You can just compensate with doctrines for this, and they get an extra 9% of health, but that kind of throws it off because they lack the defense, which makes them very much more squishier, and I think that they're squishy with this top line already, given that they're already missing a whole 9% that they can get for being on this top tree. Again, they get extra damage to infantry, which is nice, but again, it doesn't necessarily specify what this damage is. Is it just a general type of damage? Is it just from actually swinging the mace? Is it from using their skills? We're unsure at this point in time. It doesn't really elaborate. It's kind of hard to say, but again, my opinion is that I feel that this unit is just not going to sustain enough to actually do anything with this type of damage. It's strictly going to be a glass cannon at that point, and you don't really want to roll in with this type of cav under those circumstances. Now, when you elite it under the bottom tree, you get using quick charge increases damage by 15%. So this is where it comes down to kind of being a scenario and situational type of unit depending on the trees that you go. If you want to go with the bottom one, you really got to set yourself up for those very dispersed types of crowds where you know that when they're plowing through them, and they're not plowing through them very quickly, that they're going to get all those extra swings off and do a lot of damage. Now that's great. However, I think that Crupade is really what's going to be the clutch, because when you pop Crupade, that cooldown is actually quite quick. Now, when you actually complete all the unit challenges, you do get a doctrine that reduces the quick charge by 4 seconds, which is nice, but still, I don't think it's going to be game-changing. Crupade can actually have a really good cooldown, and I think it's actually quite nice at where we're at right now. Shut off another 2 seconds, and that's really going to make a difference on how quick you're going to be able to pop this off, and how many times you're going to be able to pop it off before this unit dies. So, with that being said, doctrines. Let's get into the doctrines, actually. Just looking here, what did I put? So, for the time being, I put the health doctrine. I did put piercing defense doctrine. I did put the blunt defense doctrine. And I did put the assassination doctrine, deal extra damage to heroes. When I do get the breakthrough doctrine, deal additional damage to units, I think I'm going to slap that on there and I'm going to call it a day. I think that's going to make up for all the lack of not leveling that bottom tree. They're just going to get a general damage increase to all types of units. Is this a terrible unit? Far from. It's just not one that's going to be the one that's going to sustain itself for a very long type of time. Don't bring this to field battles, but it could do quite well in a siege map, given that the siege map doesn't have a whole lot of stairs. So if you're playing the new Regnopolis map, it ain't so great in the ending. You're probably better off using this map in the beginning before they take the A point, maybe even the B point. Other than that, it is an interesting type of unit. With that being said, I was kind of holding out to make a review, and I've noticed that a lot of other people have not made a review about it as of this point in time. I really wanted to get to play it a little bit more, and I wanted to level it a bit more. That way maybe I would have a better understanding before I just go out there and blatantly say what I think the unit is. I don't think it's terrible, but I do feel like a little bit of a rework might be in the mix for it, and that is quite possible in the next week or two. We'll really have to see. I know that with the ASAPs and the Shilladars, there was some changes that were made to them. Perhaps there will be something made with these guys here quite soon. I really do think that the charge needs to be renamed. It's more of an advance than it is a charge. A charge is literally a charge, just like any other cavalry unit. It's called quick charge, but I think it should be called an advance of some sorts or something like that. Other than that, maybe a little bit quicker, you know? It kind of sucks that I actually don't have the ability to put a speed doctrine on them. I would think that at the very least that you could probably put, where is this guy at here? We're just gonna look. This guy right here, the rare melee Cavalry Doctrine 2, increases movement speed by 20%. If I had that ability to put that doctrine onto this unit, and I don't understand why I can't, it really makes no sense to me because it is a melee cavalry unit. I think that that would really help, and it would make it a lot better in keeping this unit alive and keeping it sustainable. So basically, what is the best way to go about it? How you pop the skills, if you do the quick charge first or if you do the crusade first. I think ultimately what you should do is probably use the quick charge, but also line it up. Again, you kind of want them coming in, swinging at stuff, and then you pop number 2, you do crusade, and it's just a complete earthquake. It's a shock and awe. Everything's just getting rippled with these stomps and all that. You got a good couple of seconds to get a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of crowd control going on, but don't keep them in there that long. Also, very huge crowds and units, not so great. Smaller crowds and units, excellent. So if you find someone in an alleyway, or if you're ganking someone from the side or from behind, this is your unit. This is going to stop them. And it doesn't matter what class that they're playing, especially a dual blade. Good luck trying to get away from this. So with that being said, I think that with time, it'll find a better place. I think that maybe there should be a little bit more refining and polishing to this unit to kind of make it a little, just like a little bit more better. Other than that, I don't think it's a terrible unit. It definitely is interesting to play. It definitely brings a whole new mechanic in there, and that crusade skill is definitely one that you don't want to mess with. So if you see these guys rolling in, get the hell out. Other than that, that sums up my review. This is Intrix signing out. You guys have a wonderful day. And if I got anything else to say about these guys, I'll be sure to make another video in the future. For now, take care, everybody. Intrix signing out.